looks like we're live, and why not? I think we're going to go live on TikTok also. There we go. Welcome, 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 guests, community, soldiers. Welcome to a new broadcast here, number 184. We're going to get started here in just a few. Let's see. Our music system isn't all that great. I know it's just I'm just going through a lot of different changes here. Anyways, heroes tonight. Hey, I do want to welcome those of you that are here on the broadcast. I am looking forward to, there we go, Mr. Anti-Gambler. You know what? We have to, this is a special edition of Your Solution Live. We're going to have Mr. Anti-Gambler with us here. He's going to come on the camera. Coach Jim is going to be on the camera with us, Lord willing, all the way from Tucson, Arizona. And I am your host, Santos Jr. here from Stockton, California, the world's #1 problem gambling interventionist. This is your no gambling zone. This is your no gambling zone. So if you're here and you are looking to get stronger, you're looking to build more vision for yourself, forget about your mistakes. Forget about what you messed up at. Forget about what happened yesterday. Forget about what happened the day before. Today's a new beginning. This is a new place right here. So I'm glad you're here. I'm going to do my best to take on your question. If you have a concern, you've got something going on in your life, you're looking for a solution. You're looking for a solution. This is the right place. This is the right time. Once again, Santos Jr., your coach out of Stockton, California. And I am happy to have, let me see. And by the way, we're broadcasting via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So, let me see. Hey, brother, get ready to come on the camera. I believe I put the, let me see. I put the, there it is right there. Coach Jim, it's time. It's time. So welcome, everybody. DE, I want to, let me see. Ooh, no, not that one there. Yeah. Let me know when you're ready to come on the camera. Hey, we've got a quick episode. We've got one proverb. And this is episode number 184. Why are we here? We're here to prepare for tomorrow. We're here to prepare for today. We're here to get stronger. Why? Because we don't have a choice. That's why. All right. Laura, welcome. Welcome, Laura. Good to see you here. Auto Magic, welcome. Good to see you here. DE, good to see you here. Good to see you. If you have a question, feel free. Feel free. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, remember to Soldier Scribe. Hamo, good to see you. Good to see you. And let me see. Did we get Race? Let me see who else is here. Race. Wow, we've got quite an audience. So if you have a question, you've got something that you want to come on the camera. You want to come on the camera. Maybe you want to come on the camera and bash me. Somebody said, I'm going to come on the camera and bash you. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to make you feel horrible. I'm going to let the world know what you're really like, Santos. I said, come on, do it. Come on, do it. So anyways, I'm here and we're glad that you're here. And we've got a few guests. Like I said, I believe Mr. Anti-Gambler is going to come on the camera, Coach Jim, and we're going to talk about this subject tonight. What are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about continually going forward, regardless of what's happened, regardless of the struggles, regardless of the difficulties, regardless of who points a finger and says, hey, you. We're going to keep going forward. So can you retype the link? Let me see the link. The link is right there. Let me see if I can retype. Let me see. Invite. Copy. So, by the way, gambling is a lie. Hey, Keith, gambling is a lie. Gambling is a lie. Repeat it with me. Gambling is a lie. You know, I've been through so many difficult things, right? This is you on the other side. Say this to yourself. I've been through so many difficult things in my life, and I have overcome problem gambling. I can overcome anything. I can overcome anything. It's just a matter of time and planning. It's just a matter of time and planning. I can overcome anything. You got to remind yourself, man. You have to remind yourself of this. I'm trying to get your first name again. Audio.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
What is it, Trestin?
Tristan, yes.
Man, I thought I had it right.
No, it's okay, man. A lot of people do the same thing. They say Christian or whatever, but Tristan, Tristan. It's all good.
There we go. And where are you coming? Where by way of you're out in you're on the West Coast too, aren't you?
No, I'm in where the igloos are, man.
Where the Eagles are, huh?
The igloos.
The igloos. Okay. Probably in my background there.
Oh man. Yeah, somewhere around there. That's where I'm at.
All right, we've got Coach Jim on all the way from Tucson, Arizona.
Hey, how's it going, Jim?
Hey, how's it going there, Tristan? Hey there, Santos. Good
Hey,
evening.
welcome, Jim. Let me see, we will be taking on, hey, Ken, Mr. Anti-Gambler wants to ask a few questions. We're going to let him share a little bit, and Jim's going to chime in also and share. We're basically just going to be here for a little bit, gathering strength for you on the other side, because if you're weak and you're here and you're struggling, you need to belong. You need to belong. Listen, I blew it yesterday. I got into a really bad situation and I blew it, but that's not who I am, right? You can't believe that. People will try to point a finger at you and say, you're thus and so because you made a mistake. No, it's one thing to make a mistake and it's another thing to live a certain lifestyle. You must remember that. By the way, thank you, Keith, for supporting this mission. I truly appreciate that. Go ahead, Mr. Anti-Gambler. You want to go ahead and
All right, so I got 26 questions for you. I know I told everybody 50 questions, but 26 should be good for now.
Jim's going to help me answer some of those.
Oh, yes, Jim, anytime you want to jump on one of these, that's perfect. There's actually some questions for both of you guys that are going to happen very soon too, but 26, and none of them are too personal, you know, and if you want to skip one, you can go ahead and skip it. So I wanted to start with this one because I always wanted to write a book myself. And so how many books have you written?
I've written about 5 books I've written. Some of them are published. Some of them are not published.
Oh, okay, so still kind of in the works. Nice, man.
Self-published, yeah. Now, before I answer your question, Keith says, Mr. Santos, I feel like I'm crazy. I know it's wrong. I say it's wrong, but I still go. Is my brain just, what's going on? Well,
it takes a lot of work.
Share? Jim? You want to chime in here for just a moment before? I didn't mean to cut Tristan off, but what do you think's going on here with Keith, man? Keith's one of our community members.
Yeah, it's like we have to be aware that our mind and body, have to be working together as far as moving in the correct direction. It's like the mind could be wanting to, right, but the body could be weak. Right. I mean, it's like when I think about the body, I think about like, the nervous system, people have this craving, right? That dopamine, that comfort zone, and something's going on, right? I mean, in spite of like the pain that we all remember, in the past, when we were in our addictions, in spite of that, something just keeps on bringing us back to that bad place. So, I mean, it's Keith has to kind of dig dig deep and figure out, say, what is the root of this problem? There's something, because it's like, we all can rationalize and reason that, this addiction, this gambling, this is not good for me. It's not good for me. But why do I keep on going? What's pushing my buttons? What's triggering me? Like you said, right? There's some trigger, something that's, causing me to, escape to that place of temporary comfort, and then you just get wrecked. And just cycle through it again. And it's like, they say time heals all wounds. Yeah. So some time goes by, right? You feel okay. You kind of forget that bad stuff that you're in. You get to that bad place again that's triggering you. You go all the way back there again. It's a horrible cycle. It's like, Tristan, I'm sure that you can probably attest to, bad cycles.
What I would like to add to that, it's exactly this scenario. I always thought that gambling is a cruel mistress. That's what it is. You're cheating on your life to go see this random thing, the luck of goddess, right? That's what gambling is. It's fun, it's cruel, it's insane, but it takes a long time for you to walk away and find out what the real joys of life is. And it's not hanging out with something as toxic as the evil, cruel mistress of gambling. She decides what the outcome is, if you have fun or not, and you get kind of hooked to her, affection in a strange sense. It's an abusive relationship that you need to clear yourself from, and it takes a lot of time to walk away from that with all the poking that they do at you.
She's meeting a need for Keith for some way, right? She's meeting a need.
She wants all of us, every single one of us that play her games. She wants us.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And once you get once that emotional attachment, once that hook is there, man, once that hook is in place, it's hard to, I'm not saying it's impossible, because I did it. Tristan's done it. Jim's even done it in some form, in some way in his life too, even though he's never been a casino gambler, as far as I know.
It's the stings that it gives you that makes you so addicted to it at the end of it. You just get hooked on that pain, that rush and love and hatred that you build with the relationship you get within the gambles. It's you got to walk away from it. That's the best thing to do.
And I'm glad that you're here, Keith. I'm glad, Keith, there's nothing wrong with your thinking. I was thinking about this earlier. Your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind can be your worst, not your worst enemy, but your mind can really do damage to you if you're not careful, in just a very short space of time, all by yourself. Your mind can do that to you. And you have to really get a hold of yourself. I mean, sometimes I literally have to just talk to myself. Santos, get a hold of yourself, man. Because if you're not careful, you'll slip down. And because of the mind, because of the way the mind is, and not just your mind, but emotions. Our emotions, man, they're really, they could be tricky. Somebody said, oh, don't pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention, but don't pay attention, right? There's a time to do it and there's a time not to do it. But you got to be aware of what's going on, because if not, you're just going to trick yourself, right? You'll, like Jim was saying, you'll think that everything's okay. And then you mentioned that, Tristan, everything's okay. Man, you know what? I'm just going to add to the throttle, man. I'm cruising here. I'm just cruising. And that's where you end up with a bruising, because now you're just cruising, you're kicking back, and you're not focused. So the FTs, the focus thieves, come in, the limiting beliefs begin to kick in, and you're in trouble. So I'm glad you're here, Keith. I'm glad you're here. I hope that what we're doing right here helps you in some way. Take notes. Believe that it's possible. You're not alone. Gambling is a lie. And I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. And the fact that you're here says something about you, right? Your mind will try to trick you into believing. I wrote this down earlier. Let me read it to you. Work on keeping your shift manageable. What does that mean? Work on keeping your shift manageable, or else your shift locks on the wall of shame. So your mindset locks onto the wall of shame instead of you focusing on your wall of fame. Because when you focus on your wall of fame, it gives you hope. It gives you encouragement. Oh, yeah, man, I achieved that thing last year, the wall of fame. Oh, yeah, I achieved that 5 years ago, man. So I got to be strong. I just got to learn how to tap into that energy, right? The wall of fame versus the wall of shame. Your mind will trick you into all kinds of things like this. And it does it to us all the time. So we just need to become more aware of it. We need to become more aware of it.
I could add a little bit of that too if you want. It's the highlight reel. You got to think, what are your highlight reels right now? And if you think there's way more dark days than good days, you got to start clearing something in your story to get better highlights in your life, man. Because, I don't know, if you're at the casino parking lot, just try it. Try to drive somewhere else and not gamble on a Sunday. Just try it, man.
That's it, right? Play the game. Take a gamble on that gamble, right? Take a gamble on not gambling, and ask yourself the question, right? But the key to this whole thing is, Trestin, the key to this whole thing is to be prepared ahead of time. That's why Sunday's a good time for us to come together. Why? Because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's coming. The more that you prepare today, the better off you'll be tomorrow, right? The stronger that you believe you are today here, gathering around people that are no gambling zone. I mean, I don't want anything to do with gambling anymore. I'm done with it. It took enough, beat me up enough for me to realize that I don't need to stick my head in that hole, right? If there's a hole there and it looks, man, that looks exciting, I'm going to stick my head in that hole. And you get popped in the eyeballs and your teeth get broken a few times. After a little bit, you're probably going to think twice about sticking your head in that hole. At least that's the way I feel. I've had some teeth broken, a couple of black eyes, some bruises, broken bones and stuff like that. I don't need to be sticking my face in that hole anymore. Like, that's gambling. That's the lie of gambling, because it'll get you. Sooner or later, it'll get you. It'll get your pocketbook. It'll get your wallet.
It's a matter of time. And a lot of people, that's what I find confusing. They tell me, oh, well, you never know if the big one's coming. But what are you going to do with the big one? It's not going to change anything. You're going to be gambling no matter what with it. And it buys you more time to be happy. But eventually time ticks out and you become miserable again with that money that you get from winning.
The trap.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's a trap, Jim.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the problems that we all face when we fall, I believe, is like a bad looping spiral downward, because everything looks like a failure. Everything looks, everything you do, you just beat yourself up. It's like once again, and it's like it's just a loop of negativity, and that's really tough. And I think the only way that you can get out of something like that is to intentionally start taking some action, like journaling, like coming onto this program, like coming up with a plan, writing down all the things that you disliked about the events. What happened? Why did this happen? Like in Keith's situation, I felt this way. What triggered it? What did I do? How did I feel? Why is this bad? Why is this good that I'm writing this out? What can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? Writing things down. Then you start feeling a little bit better, I believe. I think it's just action. If you just, sit in the car and just constantly think about, your losses. I mean, it's just an awful, it's like the mind attracts stuff, right? The mind attracts, and when you're down like that, it's nothing but an attractive magnet of negativity. So you got to fight that. You really got to fight that. And
we're fighting together. Mm-hmm. Come here every Sunday, man. Take advantage of this I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Mr. Anti-Gambler doesn't know how long he's going to be online. There's no guarantee. Jim doesn't know how long he's going to be in Arizona. Take advantage of this Sunday. Come here. Pour your heart out if you can. If you want to hide behind the camera, you can do that. You want to come on the camera, you can do that. You can send me an email. The thing is like you got to fight. And yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be tough. Obviously, anything new is going to be tough, but it gets easier, obviously. It's going to get easier. It's just a matter of getting over that hump. I got a proverb I want to read, and then Tristan has got some more. Tristan's got some more questions here. Let me see. Gambling casinos should be illegal. Shannon, welcome to the broadcast, Shannon. Good to see you. And welcome, Ken. I don't know if I've ever had the pleasure to meet you there, Ken. Welcome to the broadcast. Rosa Ramirez, welcome to the broadcast. Good to see you. If you have a question, I sub to the Anti-Gambler. There we go. Thank you for subscribing. Hey, we've got some opportunities here for those of you that want to grow, want to excel. And who knows, you might start out here with your new recovery, and you might end up with some kind of a YouTube channel yourself where you're reaching out to somebody in the Antarctica. I don't know. Anyway, St. John chapter 8. I got to read the verse, folks. I got to read the proverb for the day, right? You guys know me. I'm religious. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Now, I'm not going to get into that spiritually, but I personally believe that there is a master. I believe one of his names is Jesus, and I follow the Bible. I don't belong to church or anything like that. I'm not going to sit here and talk about church, but I do believe that you have to have some standards and some values in your life that you need to follow. And for me, one of them is the Bible. It could be a book, it could be Napoleon Hill's book, it could be, in fact, for some, it might even be, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. Anton LaVey. Have you ever heard of Anton LaVey? You know who Anton LaVey is?
No,
He's one of the founders of the Church of Satan in San Francisco. They have their book they follow, right? They have their religious standards. That's what they do. Kind of a weird looking. If you ever look up that name, Anton LaVey, I believe that's his name, yeah. And anyways, that was just my little bit of input there. But here's the thing. What's really important to me is I've been through a lot of shit, just like you, right? Some of you, a lot of you, and I'm still not gambling. So there's no excuse for me. There shouldn't be no excuse for you for yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Lift yourself up. Don't put yourself down.
I appreciate that, man. I agree. You got to follow some type of thing that makes you happy. And if it's, I don't know, different books like that, that's okay. But I don't follow the devil's words like that. I don't know. Maybe I haven't given it a shot, but
the devil's playground is the casino.
Oh, yeah. It's more than that. It's oh, yeah.
Thank you. Angela says she's learning a lot from this channel. So we started out the program once again. Yeah, if you have a question, you have something you want to share, I'm doing my best. You know, I actually do need somebody else to help me out in this area because it's easier for me to focus on what's really going on. But if you have a question, you have something that you want to share, an observation. I know we talked a little bit to Keith here. Hopefully, you know, we're making some sense. Gambling's a lie, folks. There's nothing good about gambling. It's just going to lead you down the wrong path. It doesn't matter how you get there. If you could get there fast, you could get there slow.
All right, I'm back on the book questions. I'm gonna skip the boring ones. They get more exciting. These are like just the book stuff, man. So, and how many days does it take for you to write a book down? And what's your most successful book, would you say?
You know, I'm working on another book right now too with a friend. I think my greatest work was this one here. You know, I really put a couple years into this, but to put it together, it doesn't take that long, but it was just a matter of reviewing and editing and then going back, and you can still go and change and you can still go back and fix and modify. But I'm at a point now where if somebody reads my book, put your thoughts, cross out my text and put, what are you thinking when you're reading? See, it's not important what I'm saying. I just trigger a thought. My goal is if I can get you to write over my text what your thought is, then you're going to hold on to this thing a lot longer and you're going to study it more because now you're putting into it. That's my goal. Yeah, get some thoughts out of it, you know. But
that sounds great. And I find thought-provoking things are the most important aspect of getting rid of an addiction, because you need many different thoughts to kick the main thought away, if that makes sense. But yeah, thought-provoking stuff is great.
And what else?
So I got another question here about the books. Are all your books about gambling addiction?
I have a personal biography, but I don't think that's going to ever come out. It's a big book, and it has to do with my childhood. It has to do with my mom's childhood, all that information of how I grew up with fear and confusion and all those kinds of things. The challenge that I have with that is I need a family member to go back and do some editing, and right now it's just not happening. So the book is already laid out. The story's already laid out. It just needs to be corrected in certain areas. So will that book come out? I don't know if it's even worth bringing out, but I just enjoy writing because it's been a therapy, man. It's been a real therapy for me. I've written books that haven't got out, and they're just in manuscripts. But the cool thing is that I've got them out from inside, and it was like a lot of things that just needed to come out. So it's like a therapy.
I agree 100% with that. I like writing too. It helps you distract from your moment, and then you get to see what's going on in your conscious. But I think it would be cool to put that book out there one day, man. And I'm telling you, if ever somehow we become millionaires, we got to make movies about our lives, man. It's going to be interesting somehow.
The life and times of the soldier and Mr. Gambler and Coach Jim.
Changing the world.
Coach Jim is like, what did I get myself into today on this broadcast? Well, we're just doing our best that we can here. We actually need a moderator, because if I start getting more people on the camera, it's kind of like I'm trying to juggle.
Yeah, that's part of it, I guess. It's a skill, man. It's a skill to be doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. What's your thought?
No, I was going to say that, here Shannon Peterson says, I also wanted to do a personal autobiography. Listen, if you're struggling with gambler, start a journal. That's how your book can start out. Start a journal, start tracking your life, you'll just notice more things. Obviously, it's, for me, I don't know how I can make it day by day without a journal. But I mean, I've got so much material that I don't want the world to see. I don't want anybody to read it. And I often think, man, what if this stuff gets out there? I've already burned a couple of books and stuff, but do it. Write it out, get it out there. That's something that if you feel that you want to do, it's going to help you. It may help you with your get away from your situation if you're stuck in the situation, right? Something, new vision, new direction. Man, I highly encourage it.
Oh, I agree too. Mike, have you been writing books, or how much books do you read?
Who?
Coach Mike.
Yeah.
Coach Jim. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that.
I haven't written any books. It's like just probably in the last year I started kind of journaling. My biggest problem is not reviewing. I really should review. I'm not quite sure. I have to ask myself, why don't I review a lot of the things? I think I'm a very impatient person, and I just don't want to give myself that time. It's like for me, I deal with a lot of anxiety, and I want stuff done quickly, and I feel that I waste a lot of time doing certain things, and I have to have stuff done. So, I mean, patience is something that I really need to do, and I think everyone needs that patience. I think probably people who have addictions, have problems with patience. I think it all boils down to fear and anxiety. Our nervous system. It's always about that fight or flight deal. And we try to cope. We try to deal with, whatever is pushing our buttons, to get to that safe place. For me, I just try to do, too much at once. I act impulsively, just because I fear that if I don't do certain things at a certain time, I'll miss opportunities, or I'll fail. I'm too hasty. Um, that kind of stuff. So it's a matter of being intentional about being patient with yourself. I tell you, everyone who suffered with addiction, right? Like Keith, you don't have any patience for yourself. You don't have any patience. You hate yourself. You think you're useless, worthless. You did it again, and you just look very badly upon yourself. And you know what? Maybe sometimes we need a little bit more time, right? It's like maybe this mess up, Keith, is the extra mess up you needed to really make that fundamental change. It's like we all, like when I was teaching, I would tell students, it's like, hey, we all don't finish the finish line at the same time, you know, but the act of, taking the steps forward towards that finish line is what counts, right? So, I mean, I'm saying it for myself. I'm saying for everyone else. We got to be patient with ourselves. We got to be patient. We got to say it. We got to speak it. I mean, patience mean, it's like, don't put yourself down. You know, patience is take the time to journal, take the time to read, take time to think. Take the time to, really, really try to understand yourself. And I think it could be just fear. It's like I don't want to learn about myself. I don't want to know who I really am because I'm afraid.
Mm.
I'm afraid. I don't know what I don't want to see what's inside the mirror. You know. So I mean, it takes courage. It takes patience. And remember, I just want to just say this. I was thinking about this week. It's like I'm the only person I have. I'm the only person, with all my disabilities, perceived disabilities, all my features, all that's all I have. So I have to do the best with what I have. And I think that's what everyone should really think. It's like whatever you have, man, that's all you have, and you got to do the best you can with it. All right. So I mean, yeah, number one, just put yourself first, and have that patience.
Oh, I agree
Yeah, have you?
100%. But sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
Oh man, Mike, I just wanted to say sometimes writing something like that could really bring out other sort of things inside of you. I want to let you know. One time I wrote a book, man. I wrote a book this thick and like a madman, writing all my anger, everything that I grew up with. And I burnt the book away right after it was done. I didn't share it with anybody, I didn't read it. And ever since, I left a lot of anger somewhere in flames. I don't deal with it anymore. And I thought it's good, but I regret not being able to share it now. It's one of my, I wonder what I wrote in my angriest days.
Wow, that's interesting because that's a principle that I teach. What you just shared, it's a principle that I teach in GABA about letting things go. Create a little ritual where you can actually, uh, like a little game to help yourself let things go. So that's important. That's good. I mean, too bad you got rid of that thing. You can't get it back, but um, that's interesting though, isn't
I
it?
think at a certain age, I guess, with all the stuff that you end up dealing with, I just every time I talk to people, I would hold back a little bit of anger, and it would, and I guess writing down why am I so angry really changed that for me. But it's important. I was curious because I still a lot of books in the background, and I'm wondering this guy, he's a reader.
Well, I think a lot of the time I do a lot of audio. I don't read as much as I do. I read, but I don't read a lot of books like I used to. I read a lot of pieces, bits and pieces. But most of the stuff that I do today is audio. I don't know about Jim, but I do mostly audio. It's just more
Uh,
convenient.
uh-huh. I mean, writing definitely has its purpose because when you write, you're really forcing yourself to think about what you're writing. You know,
Mm.
um, some I have my Bluetooth, I have my phone, and I'm doing stuff, and you know, uh, you always talk about taking notes, Santos, and that's something I wish I can go ahead and do more often when I'm listening to audio, helpful audio, taking notes, reflecting upon that stuff and see how I can apply that to my life. So there's a good aspect of of reading, writing, and listening. All those are good learning things. And like in teaching, there's auditory, there's visual, and there's haptic. Right? There's those different things that we all have to do. Haptic is the hands-on doing stuff, writing, right? The listening, right? The speaking too. You got to speak it. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here, Tristan. That's why you're here, Santos. We say it to go ahead and really, really ingrain it in our being.
Reinforce
So
it.
yeah, reinforce. So
Yeah.
yeah, do all those things, and it's going to be a part of you.
Oh
Hey,
man,
Natalie, let me see. Natalie Luna, estaba dormida, pero no me perderé este programa. Wow, that's really touching, Natalie, that you would be sleeping, but you don't want to miss this program, so you've got an alarm on to wake you up or something. That's really, really touching. I really appreciate you sharing that. Hopefully, what I'm doing, what we're doing, is improving your life, because that's the goal for me here for 45 minutes, is to try to help you improve yourself as I improve myself. No matter what you grow through, no matter what you grow, GROW, never let it be an excuse. Never let it be an excuse. Fix that inside your mind. I know that's not easy to do, but fix that in your mind is a recommendation. No matter what you grow through, never let it be an excuse. Because if you do, you'll go back to gambling. If you do, you'll go back to the card room. If you do, you'll go back to buying a lot of scratching tickets or betting online. If you do, right? One excuse. You know what? I've been doing good for 6 months, and then you fell down hard. You've been doing good for 6 months. You fell down. One excuse. No, you got to look past it, man. That's not an excuse for you to go back.
I agree. How did you replace your dopamine needs? And Jim too, if you want to. How did you guys replace your dopamine needs after gambling?
You want to go, Santos?
Well, basically, I just got tired, man. I got beat up, man. I got thrown out by the side of the road. The car was doing about 85 miles an hour, and opened the door and threw me out. And I didn't land very well. I didn't land very well. And like I said earlier, once you stick your head in a hole and you got popped a few good times, you jump out of a car doing 85, I highly doubt that you're going to do it again. But you talked about this the other day in one of your videos about having that mindset and using your mindset to be able to create scenarios, because it's true. To me, it felt like I got thrown out of a car doing about 80. And that was enough, man. I got peeled up pretty good. My skin peeled. You know what I'm saying? When you ever had that road rash where your skin peels? I remember I fell off a motorcycle. I was doing about, I don't know, 55 miles an hour, I think, 50, 60 miles an hour. And I got scraped up pretty good. I remember the right here, my kneecap, and the back of near my spine, my buttocks area. Oh yeah,
Shit.
there was skin peeled right off, and I ended up having to go to the hospital. And I remember because they would have to brush the rocks off of my skin, and boy, that was like. So after that, I gave up the motorcycle. I never rode motorcycle ever again.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
I
dopamine
kind of
hit.
I want to pin a lot of that stuff to gambling. Whenever I start, you go through things in life, hardships, and then you want to fall back into those kinds of things. And no, man, I can still feel my skin peeling, I'm not going back there. And again, this is the mindset, man, that I hope to pass on to you out there that are struggling, man. This mindset of just, I'm done. It's over. And you fight every day. I just kept fighting, man. I kept fighting, and that's how I overcame that dopamine, and still doing it. It's not like completely over. It's a battle every day. You're fighting. you know, right?
It's
Every day.
always tempting to get back on that motorcycle ride, you know.
Well, every once in a while, you get tempted. That's the truth. The triggers aren't going to go away completely. They'll become more manageable because you're not thinking about them. In the beginning, you are going to be preparing yourself. You got to be thinking about this stuff. Where's that monster at, man? What corner is he hiding? And you're trying to look behind things and see, make sure you're ready and prepared. Oh yeah, there it is. You know, boom. So you don't fall, man. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
goal. You're maneuvering. It's like, oh, boom. Oh, I gotta move my face over here so I don't get hit.
It's the
Anyway,
whole game of not slipping anymore.
that's it,
Yeah.
brother. And it just gets easier. Obviously, it does get easier. It gets easier for me. Uh, so I don't know. Jim's never really been in a casino,
Yeah. In regards to like dopamine. Okay.
or
So for
maybe he
me,
has been and he's been holding back on us.
like dog coin, cryptocurrency, stocks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there
a
we
different
go. Yeah.
story. Yeah. But in regards to how do we change habits? That's something that I've been really focusing on as far as health wise. Because for me, it's like I just realized that food, is has been a distraction to me, and it's been an excuse. Food is kind of like an addiction almost. If you take anything too far, it could be an addiction, right? You can use that as, like you said,
Yeah.
excuses, right? Excuse, right? If you don't want to do something, you fill up that time and energy with an excuse to avoid, what you really need to do. And I just told myself, it's like I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to feel. I don't want to. I can picture myself, doing what I was doing, like eating or whatever the bad stuff, getting tired, waking up with a headache, not motivated to do stuff, trying to escape, And I said, you know what, this, the taste of that food, that feeling is not worth, where I'm going in life, that direction. It doesn't smell good, like you said, Santos. It stinks. It really stinks. And I said this repeatedly. It's like you got to associate. You really have to associate. Um, what's going on with your life to either something good or something bad, and what I did in the past, smells so bad. I just keep on thinking about, those negative things. It's like I don't care how good it tastes or how it makes me feel. I'm not going back there. I have other things I want to transcend. I want to get above. I want to have that stuff under my feet, like you say, right? And that's the motivator. But I think, you also have to kind of like have a plan. I think you talked about having a plan. For me, I just limit my diet. I just like no carbs. I just really, really, no bread, no pasta, nothing like that. No candy, no sugar stuff, and I have a set of things that I just eat. That's it. And I just limit myself. I limit myself. These are the things, right? I see progress. I mean, measurable progress. I see my weight go down, my running time go up, you know measurable progress. And
Yeah.
gamblers can see the same thing. You set goals, right? You associate the negative feelings that you had with what you did, and say, that smells so bad. That feeling feels so bad. In spite of the lights and the noises and stuff. You know, I associate that stuff with something that's really stinks, that really hurts me, that has nothing in store for me for my future. It
Hmm.
sucks. It smells so bad.
Exactly.
It feels so bad. Right? And you just start creating your plan. You start writing down. You start looking at your accomplishments every day. And you're going to develop that habit. That's the deal, habit. I mean, for me, I've gone through over 90 days, in my change, and it feels good. I wish I can appreciate myself a little bit more. I wish I could celebrate myself a little bit more than I do, but it's a place where I'm in a good direction, I feel. And yeah, You know,
So what I take from that is slowly and steady, you're making the thought of dopamines not as attractive, and then actually being more healthy from doing that because of the fact that the dopamine hits having too much end up causing you harm. So limiting the food and the sweets and whatnot, I can agree with that, and that's my number one problem. So what you said with the food, it hit me hard because yesterday, and I almost wanted to tell Santos I can't be on today because yesterday I ate a greasy pizza, man. And I have heartburn like crazy all day long from this pizza.
I think about it like this. I think about it like this. You know, it's like when I was young, I used to enjoy toys, right? Legos, Transformers and stuff. It's like I can remember those times. I had fun, you know. I had fun back then, but today it's a different day. Although I had fun back then, you know, that's the past. That's the past. I can
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the memories, you know, but it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So I can appreciate
Time to
those
move on.
times, but it's time to move on, right? So, you were talking about the light, in that Bible deal. It's like, we have the ability to create that light in our mind. It's like, where would we want to go,
Hmm.
right? The possibilities.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. We have
and
many abilities. We don't shine because we don't think. We look at other people. Somebody. Let me see. There was someone in here said that comparison was one of the falls here. I'm not sure if it was that they compare themselves to others. Yeah, here we go, Eric. Well, that's a major problem. We all have abilities. We all have gifts, and everybody has something better than somebody else in some way, right? We all lack something more than somebody else, and we all have something more than somebody else in some way. So you have to find your gift. You have to find your gift, and you have to what it is that you're best at. Focus on what it is that you're best at, what your gift is, and dig deeper. And what brings that out is actually when you go through hard times, right? When you find yourself at wit's end with gambling, that's how I was able to find myself. But
And
it seems like most of the time we have to go through something horrible in order for the good to come out of us. It just seems that way.
when
how
when
Not
did
Eric
you
talks,
find?
necessarily at all.
Oh, sorry, guys.
oh yeah, when Eric is
Yeah.
talking about comparing, it's like, Eric, you're putting it out there. You're really kind of like putting some space between your challenge, your stated challenge, and yourself. And when you put it out there, now you can kind of start looking at it, and seeing, it's like this stupid comparison problem that I've been having. It's like, it's not so bad. I can find some faults in that thinking, and you can start
Mhm.
really kind of molding, a new way of thinking when you say, what, it's like there's another approach to this. There's another way. So yeah, it's important to kind of address, the situation right now. We want to see things how it is. It's like I got a problem, comparing myself with other people. It makes me feel like this. It makes me feel bad. And it's
Mhm.
like, this. I mean, this sucks. Okay, so you put the problem out there. Okay, now the starts, like Maxwell Maltz says, it starts the mechanism of trying to find a solution to this. Now, unfortunately, some people have gambling as a solution, right? Or other kinds of addictive problems, you
Mhm.
know. But
That's the
we're here.
dopamine.
Yeah, there's the dopamine. There's the escape deal. But it's like we're in a good community to say, you know what? No, no, I'm not going down that path because I know what kind of place, and consequences that's going to lead to, right? So addressing
Mhm.
your issue, addressing your issue and really thinking about it can start the solution process. Journaling, like you said, write things down and think about it.
All right, folks, we are coming down to the end of the wire here. Man, I know that time goes by very quickly. Again, my hope and my desire is to have this program here for all of us to gain strength, to find a solution. Maybe you got an idea. If you didn't write it down, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But take notes. You never know. You're in a good environment. This is the no gambling zone, right? Gambling's a lie. If anything, write that down. Gambling's a lie and repeat it to yourself. Gambling's a lie. Repeat it enough, you'll believe it. True. Keep asking yourself, what will motivate me to replace it? Well, I already know the answer. You think you know the answer. Ask again. What is going to keep me motivated to replace it? What is going to keep me? Keep asking. What will keep me motivated in a replacement mode? We have to be in a replacement mode in order to break through gambling. If you don't get yourself into a replacement mode, you're just going to ban yourself from the casino. You might stop for a couple weeks. Maybe you ran out of money, but guess what? Gambling is still inside your head. You got to get the man, not only the man out of the casino, but you have to get the casino out of the man, right? Take the casino. Elon Musk has a new chip. They're going to be inserting it in brains. Did you hear about that?
Oh, man.
We need to get that chip inserted, right? A new chip. There needs to be a new chip. Maybe I'll design one. It's the no gambling chip. It needs to be put inside your head so you don't gamble anymore.
We'll see what happens in the future. I'm scared people will be able to gamble with the chip in their head, man.
I know. They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Because the dopamine is so strong. You know, that chemical, we've been talking about dopamine and all of these things. Well, you know, what's really happening is that you're not aware of what's happening. So you go into the casino and you're having a good time, but your brain doesn't know really what's going on either, right? The thing about your brain is that it doesn't know the difference between something when it really happens or when it's imagined. So you got these chemicals that are released inside your brain and they make you feel good and all these kinds of things. And that's exactly how you end up getting hooked with gambling. It's that chemical that's being released that you're not even aware of. But once you become aware of it, once you become an understanding of what's going on, it gives you a little bit more of a perspective to be able to fight for yourself. Because ultimately, it's you that has to win this battle. Nobody's going to be able to win it. Your child can't win it. I can't win it for you. I'd love to. Trestin can't win it for you. Jim can't win it for you. You have to win it for yourself. But you're at the right place at the right time. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the community. So, man, I've had a record number tonight. Maybe it's because Trestin joined us tonight here. That's great. We've had a record number of guests. We've also been live streaming via TikTok. My mom usually comes on. My mom doesn't even know what she's doing, and she comes on TikTok. It's just kind of a strange thing. Anyways, I truly hope that we've been able to address, you know, any serious questions on the broadcast. Brian, I don't know, Brian, a little bit of a jokester there talking about, yes, I used to pawn my chains and jewelry also. I lost a lot of gold.
Same here, brother. I got a bunch that are still over there somewhere.
Rings and all kinds of stuff. Yes. Don't even go there with me, man. I remember. Oh, the pawn shops. Anyway, Santos, I'm the only one who can't stand those dealers who add insult to injury as they are rude and desensitized to taking our money. Yes. I'm glad you're here. Laura, glad you're here. Laura always inspires me. Ken, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. You seem familiar to me. I don't know. Hamo, welcome. Good to see you here. Shannon Peterson. I'm like Trestin. We have such long lives ahead. Thank you for being here. Keith, definitely thank you for supporting. By the way, again, we have a, you know, if you feel you have you want to get a book, you want to support this mission, if you enjoy supporting the underdog, you can get a book, Amazon. If you would like to sit down with myself, maybe you want to have a coaching session with me. If I don't scare you, you know, you're welcome to do that. Time slots are limited. I can give you a 45-minute, 60-minute coaching. The only thing that I ask is if you do that, you know, you go to the link down there, make sure you have a goal in mind so that when we could make contact, we could begin working immediately on your goal. And whether you take me up for coaching or not, you take me up on one session, who knows? That one session might be the one that sets you on the right edge. But we have to be ready for that, okay? That's all I ask if you decide to take me up on coaching. Hamill and DE.
I just wanted to say really quick to everybody who's been on my channel, coming over here and watching, welcome to Santos, Rolon Jr. This is a good friendship that's happening here. And we got many, many more episodes, I guess, planned out for the future. I got a bunch of questions still to ask you, man. So next Sunday, if you don't mind, I'll come back for a little bit at the end. I'll pop up and we'll keep the little series going.
Most definitely. We'll save some time for the questions, brother, because I really like the questions and they help others. So I truly appreciate you, Trestin, for coming on, and Coach Jim there in Tucson, Arizona.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
We're here. So if you want to drop off, you can drop off. I know that everybody's got to get going. I want to thank each and every one of you guys again. Eric, Hamill, Laura, Sumaya, Rose, Shannon, Ken, Brian. Man, we've had a number of guests here. And again, shout out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and TikTok also. So we're going to be letting you go. We'll see you next Sunday. We'll be back here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Lord willing. And again, we're here to motivate, inspire. And if you have something, don't be out there by yourself. Come on, be a part of this. I'll see you guys next Sunday. And remember, make your day super fantastic, terrific, and over the top in spite of and because of.
God bless everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Tristan. Thank you, Santos. Have a good week.
Thank you, Jim. Trestin.